fellow Singaporeans and fellow residents living in the north. I can feel the excitement in the air. I know May 7th is near, and people getting excited, looking forward to the big day. I think it's natural because we do it only once in 5 years, but I think at the end of it, I hope let's not get too emotional, because elections is really serious matter about our future, our children's future. So hopefully good sense will always prevail so that we know what is right from wrong, what is good for Singaporeans in the future, and what is less than perfect. Our GRC, as you know, comprises Marsiling Town, Woodlands Town, and a part of Sembawang Town. We used to have the entire Sembawang Town with us, but with the boundary change, so a big chunk of Sembawang Town is now with our neighboring GRC in Nisun. But we still have about 1/3 of Sembawang Town. So last GE, we launched a similar 5-year program, costing us that time more than $600 million, because it was a much larger place and a bigger number of HDB flats and private residences. I remember our GRC at that time, with that kind of boundary, total almost 1,000 HDB blocks. And we knew because we worked very hard to try to cover every one of those blocks. This time round, the same thing. After 5 years of cooperation with residents, we have fully implemented our 5-year plan at that time. And I remember some of the very notable projects in that 5-year project, in that 5-year plan. Just to name a few, although you will see a little bit of some of those on the exhibition, in the exhibition panels later on. For example, Emirati Park. This is a park which we are very proud of. I think it's something like 27 hectares. We got it done during the last 5 years. It is even bigger than Sembawang Park. So the north, our GRC now have 2 mega parks. Sembawang Park, a much older park with its own old world charm, and a more modern park, Emirati Park. But of course, not in an artificial way. It's an eco park. You can see trees in their natural conditions. I remember the atapchi trees, which is very popular. And also you can see all kinds of animals and insects, monkeys, etc. I've used the park a few times, and it's always, I won't say crowded, but it's always well used. Because eco park, in fact, you don't want it to be too crowded. Eco Park is not Orchard Road. So you want Singaporeans, after a busy day, you have a walk in the park in its natural environment. But that's not all. The waterfront is another of our pride, opened just the last 15 months or so. Again, I've been there several times, and it's very well used, I know, because each time I go there now, it's very hard to get a car park lot. So we have to take a look at whether we can improve on the car parking. But whatever it is, it means that it is very well used. Whether it's in the morning, at night, in the afternoon, and that's something that we are very proud of. But besides the parks, we did a lot of work and spent a lot of money in the housing estates. And this, as residents, you know, LUP, MUP, IUP, the various upgrading programs. We have spent hundreds of millions of dollars there, and they are always very popular, very well used. And besides that, because there are many cyclists living in the north, they cycle both to work as well as for exercise and leisure, so we spend money as well as energy and resources getting all the various government agencies to work together to produce kilometers and kilometers of cycling tracks. I've lost count, but at the last count, it was at least 26 kilometers of cycling tracks. And those are very popular and effective, because it means improved safety, For cyclists, it also improves safety for the pedestrians and parents who are pushing their kids on prams. And as Health Minister, I'm also very proud of the healthcare development benefiting the North. We have many healthcare projects throughout Singapore, but for the North, I'm extremely proud of the Khoo Teck Puat Hospital. Many of you have visited them. Very few as patients, but as visitors or patients. Or I know as visitors to their rooftop gardens, because I know I led a fairly large group recently to their rooftop gardens, because we are interested in converting some of our rooftops, especially above the multi-story car parks, into gardening. Good hobbies keep many residents happy, because many have green fingers and they would like to plant, grow something, and it's all organic planting. So, I led a group there to learn and share experiences so that we can always improve on our community gardening. Whatever it is, it is a very good hospital, which we are proud of, and we are doing more in Jurong and in Sengkang. So those are some of the key projects that we have done over the last 5 years, which we have made the promise and we deliver on them. But estate renewal, community development is a continuous process. And that's why today we are proud to launch this next 5-year plan. And that will lead us to 2015. The key highlights of this next 5-year plan are on the panels. We can't show it all because there are many. And the amount, the scale of it is very comparable to the last 5 years. So it will be in the order of $500 million. But it's not so much the money, but the nature of the projects that we are talking about. I will just briefly sketch out the 5 broad areas of this next 5-year plan. First, more housing options. Population in the North is growing, and that's why the constituency political boundary has to change, because population has been growing. So we need more housing options, especially in HDB, but not just in HDB, also private estates, condos, and landed properties. How many? I think over the next 5 years, at least 5,500 new housing units will be built. Many are already being built, and you can see them in Marsiling, in Emirati, in Sembawang. I can see the areas, the empty field, opposite Sembawang CC. They have been cordoned up, boarded up, and the BTOs have been announced, and several more will be announced, and so that will add populations to that area, which I think will be welcomed by our residents, especially residents in Sembawang, because they have always felt that they do not have as much facilities. Swimming pool is a top of the chart wish list as compared to, say, Woodlands or Yisun. And I always have to explain to them that because your population is large but not as big. In Yisun and in Woodlands, we are talking about 250,000 population per town, whereas Sembawang is still around 100,000. So the new estates bringing in, I think, will help bring activities, and therefore can justify more activities. So we are not promising swimming pool within the next 5 years in Sembawang, but I think as you add on the numbers, the justification will improve. The new HDB blocks will go high-rise because Singaporeans prefer even higher rise now, especially having seen Pinnacle. So we will not be as high as Pinnacle, but we will be just as modern, and being new, I think it will be even more modern than Pinnacle. So it's something that we can all look forward to. You can begin to see part of that shaping up in Marsiling Heights. I don't know how many story would that be? 40, 50 story maybe? 31 stories. So in the north, land is more sparse, so we try not to keep it too high, but higher than the traditional HDB blocks. So those are on the housing options that we can look forward to.